Hey, what's up everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so, you know how this goes. This is one of those scenarios where I'm cooking food, food's not ready, I'm ready to eat, so I'm gonna make content that'll be ready for me when I eat. And for you as well, of course. And we got about, I think the game starts at 7, I believe, so we got about an hour and a half before tip off. LA Lakers versus the Phoenix Suns. I got a video up for you guys, actually probably about 4 or 5 videos in regards to this particular matchup. And the reason why I say 4 or 5 is because we've been talking a lot about this team and have mentioned this game leading up to it. But a few thoughts. I am hopeful that we do have some changes tonight to our lineup. With Austin playing as good as he did in the last matchup and Beasley shooting as poorly as he has, I don't think it's very difficult to see that swap is something that needs to be done. But there are also other options that we can do to make our team a bit bigger, a bit better in general to start. And it really does involve in getting other guys involved. Max Christie, Lonnie Walker need to be getting some playing time. That's really what it comes down to. Those are two athletic players that can really help us in various ways. And we are a team that's struggling in certain areas that I think they can help us with. Max Christie is a pretty solid perimeter defender, left to right defender, athletic player, rebound hawk, shooter, because he shot a lot better than we thought he would. And I just think us bringing him along slowly has been a big mistake this season. It's not what you want to do when you need the things that he does, and you're leaning on people that don't do those things, and you're suffering losses. And it's like, if you would have just groomed this player a bit better, you would have found that he could have helped you just like Austin Reeves would have has been able to help you early in his career. This is the exact same type of situation. You just didn't play that guy. You didn't give him the opportunity to show you exactly how good he could have improved if he would have gotten 20 minutes a game from pretty much the first, second week of the season. If he would have done that, one of two things would have happened. Either he would have got hurt early, which is what happens with a lot of rooks when you throw them out there too soon, or they go out there, make mistakes, go out there, make mistakes, go out there and get better and get better and get better, and by now they're legitimate rotation players. So we just neglected to do that, and I just think it was one of many mistakes that Darvin Ham and the Laker coaching staff has made, because that should not have been the case. We need him in a game like tonight, and he should be used to being out there with us. I think the same thing about Scottie Pippen Jr. They haven't called him up, and I know that he's still with South Bay and he's getting his playing time, which is really good. But I just feel like he could have helped us so much when we struggle with certain things, particularly on the defensive end with fast-footed players. Max Christie and Scottie Pippen double team is a problem. It's a problem. I'm telling y'all. We're going to find that out probably 2 years from now, how deadly our backcourt game can be when we use players that we have rostered that we are not using. Because those kids are both good at that. They're both very good at that. They're both two-way players. So it's like, I know how much production we potentially leaving on the board by bringing those kids along slowly. I actually do know this, and it's like it bothers me because I know we are not a very good team. So that's something I just say, okay, at the end of the day, they're guards. So we have a bunch of guards. I get it. But with some of the struggles of this team, a guy like Max Christie with the rebounding ability that he has, I'm telling you guys, you would have already seen him get double-doubles already. He would have already had games where he would have had 10 points and 10 rebounds. It would have already happened. And that's the thing about Max Christie. I just understand his game. And you look at his frame and the way that he plays and the limited minutes that he gives you. It's like we're really leaving big games on the table with that kid. And Lonnie Walker. We've had games where we've seen Lonnie go for 30 points. We've seen him hit like 5 and 6 threes. And it's like, so if I'm fathoming what I think Max can do, and then I'm looking at what Lonnie can do, it's like, boy, oh boy, some of these games that we've left on the table without playing these kids. I said the same thing about Wenyen Gabriel earlier in the season, of course. We screamed about it all season long. Now we see how good he's playing right now. In Bron and Bamba's absence, he stepped up and given us way more than we thought we would get from him. And it's like it would have been the same dynamic if we would have did that all season long. Our team would have been 6 or 7 games better than we are right now. And so when I say this about Max Christie and Scottie Pippen Jr., I'm telling you guys, it's exactly what it is. So I respect the fact of bringing young players along slowly. I understand that has always been a good thing in the old NBA. But if you look around, this is not an old NBA. You look at some of these teams, and they have players that are younger than Max getting big minutes, like big minutes. And that kind of thing is just about the team's philosophy of how they want to approach serious basketball and what the philosophy is in regards to the league they're in. It's like, some of the stuff we used to do in the past, it worked. But you got to look around and see that this is just a youthful environment now. So you got to bring those good youthful players and let them be a part of the big game, because they're going up against guys who are going to be their age. And so this is a young man's league, and I want our team to kind of just let some of the young guys get a little more playing time in the big leagues sooner. Especially if they show they can do a lot with a little. Now, if a guy goes out there and doesn't do a lot with the time you give him, then he needs to be in the G League because he needs to develop. But if a guy's showing you that he pretty much can play up here, and some of the guys you're using are struggling, need to be developing, I just think that the G League is only using itself to kind of showcase the greatness of young players instead of developing dudes who are struggling. Like a guy like Beasley needs to be in the G League, getting his shot right, getting his reps right for like a week and a half, 2 weeks, so he can come back hot. This is what needs to happen. That way, if he goes 1 for 12 on a night, he's doing it down there. And then when he starts getting his rhythm, finds a little more consistency, then he can be a better weapon for this team. But they're not thinking that way. They want to send a guy like Scottie Pippen who can go out here and probably get 25 and 15 if you just let him play 48 minutes. They want to send him down to the G League, let him do that to G League talent, and then call him up 2 years from now and say, see, look what we found. It's like, nah, you didn't find nothing. You knew that dude could do that. But what you needed to do was take the dude that was struggling and send him somewhere else so that he wasn't hurting his team, and somewhere he can get his reps just the same. Did you keep sending him out there in real time to go 1 for 8, 1 for 9? It's like, that's where development needs to take place. That, the overall mentality of what we're doing. If we're doing it right, you lean on things that work for you, and you most definitely get the most out of what you can. And with young players having athleticism and no mileage on their legs, I don't know why you wouldn't send them out there in such a daunting type of schedule, other than the fact you think they're going to get hurt too soon. So, I just look at Max Christie, and I know he's an athlete. He's not lacking his conditioning or nothing like that. So it's like, obviously Lonnie Walker's been in the league for 5 years working on his conditioning, so that's not even a thing for Lonnie. So it's just us mismanaging things. People not really doing things the way I would want to do them, and that's just the best and the most respectful way I can say it. So, looking at this team now, it's like, okay, we got to win these games. We're going to probably go with what we know, whether it works or not. And I just don't feel as strong about that. And I think that is not a feeling I share alone. I think the team probably feels that way. It's kind of what we saw against the Houston Rockets, where they kind of came out there, we don't have a center out here. 80 wasn't able to play, but we need him. So I don't really believe in what I'm doing. It's like they don't believe in what they're doing. And so these are the type of things that you got to nip in the bud so that people believe in what they're doing. And change will help. Once you make a certain lineup shift change that shows that you are respecting what it is that you're actually seeing, then people understand that when they go out there, they're going to be able to get the most out of the production that's best, and they're not running around for nothing, leaning on stuff that doesn't work. So I'm telling you, Darvin Ham needs to get that. He needs to press that button. He needs to make a shift in that lineup. I don't know what it is. If you just take Malik Beasley and give Lonnie Walker his minutes, or if you take Austin Reeves, put him in the starting lineup. I don't know what would be best necessarily, because I really do like Austin off the bench, just like I'm sure I'd like him in the starting lineup. So I don't know, but I know for a fact that if Malik isn't hitting shots, we're hurting, man. And it's basically it's the biggest part of what's going wrong for us, outside of just missing free throws and perimeter defense, something that I just think we're not doing enough respecting of. So, this is what we have to say. It's nothing new, but it is something that we want to reiterate so that people would take it seriously. Something else that I was thinking about, I believe it was Patrick Beverley who was saying that, Laker fans were, I guess, getting on his case in ways that he hasn't experienced anywhere else saying that he sucks, calling him out. It was just a lot of pressure applied that was, I guess, not wanted by Patrick Beverley when playing for the Lakers. And it just takes me back to the pressure cooker conversation. If this ain't for you, you want to have fun playing basketball, I respect that. But chances are if you come here, we're not looking to have fun in place of what it takes to win, because we know how much fun winning is when you win in the end. So for us, it's like we don't really care about fun unless we're having it on Figueroa. I keep telling people, unless we're seeing purple and gold confetti raining from the top of Crypto.com arena, we're really always on edge to some degree as a fan base, because we are aware of what it takes to dominate. And if we don't see it, it becomes irritating. And that's what it is. It's like there was nothing wrong with Patrick Beverley other than the fact that he was in a small lineup every single night that made it so that he never had what he needed to help him succeed on the basketball floor. And on top of that, our coach leaned in on him just out of a rookie mistake type of decision in a stage in his career and in ways that you shouldn't lean on Patrick Beverley. And it made us hate him. It made us hate Patrick because he was on the floor all the time at a disadvantage. And because of it, he wasn't as effective on the offensive end, so we'd have long scoring droughts. And then on the defensive end, he'd be getting in situations where it wouldn't be as effective because he'd be on the floor with small ball players who couldn't help him out. No help defense, minimal rim protection. And then he'd be on the floor with Bron doing all of this, so it made Bron look bad. So that brought a new dynamic into it. So it's like you got Bron fans cussing you out because this is his last stand, so to speak, and you're not playing well, and the team ain't good, and we're waiting on a trade, and it's a lot of stuff that he was involved in during his time as a Laker that was especially tense for the team. Sitting there waiting for something that's never going to happen type of stuff. So people are on edge. We just got through going through small ball for a whole season with Vogel, and now we're seeing it again with a new coach, and they're frustrated. That was your era. That's your Laker era. That was what was going on while you were here, Patrick. So, yeah, you were going to get a little more energy than most because a lot of what went wrong was because you were being leaned on too much. Literally that. In fact, that was the basis of what was going wrong, really. If you look at Russell Westbrook, a lot of people said it was his fault, this, that, and the third. But that wasn't really what was wrong because he was actually very good coming off the bench the majority of the first half of the season. In fact, probably should have been sixth man of the year if he would have stayed in that role. But Patrick Beverley was the player in the starting lineup in the small ball trio rotation that was least effective, because we know DS, when he's in the right lineups, he's hot and cold, but mostly hot. He's usually very good. So, if it's Westbrook, him, and then Patrick Beverley. And Patrick Beverley was the one who was most deficient. Offensively, Patrick Beverley was the one that ultimately was leaned on the most and given the most minutes of those three players. So it's like, nah, when you see the problem in small ball and you look and he's the main one, you best believe it was his fault in Laker fans' eyes. We were losing. And we were losing because we were too small. So that's what it was, man. That's what it is. I always want to bring two things into play when we talk about the Lakers. It's a pressure cooker, but it's a pressure cooker for the front office. And because they make certain decisions, it trickles down to what you see into the players. And the players are taking on the brunt of all of the cussing because that's who the fans see. But if they knew the game better, to know that there's certain things that cater to why a player looks bad, and some of those things have nothing to do with the players around them, but who puts those players on the floor and win, and you start to see more informed fans point their attention at who is responsible for putting that stuff together. And that is the front office, GM, coaching, people, all of the whole Laker brass is who is really responsible for making sure that Patrick Beverley doesn't look as bad as he did. And so that's what I say about him and Anthony Davis as well. It's like, we can get on Anthony Davis for not playing well, but we understand that he doesn't have a legitimate center back there. So he has to be more careful with his fouls than most. He's not playing as much, but he's being leaned on to hurry up and come back from injuries and stuff because he's also playing with LeBron James, who has the same issue, can't stay on the floor, etc. It's just a lot leaning on him that if this team was constructed better during the duration of the time he'd been here, we would be able to see him in a different light because he would be playing better, have more help down there to heal properly, He'd be in better rhythm because the stuff we'd run would make him look better. It's a lot of stuff that caters to why he's not looking his best. And then we pour all the pressure on him because that's all we know to see and say. So, that's why we're trying to normalize certain things on this channel in regards to that, to say, let's look at the fullness of it. Does Anthony need to play better? Yes. Does he have everything he needs to make sure he's his best? Yeah, that has to be determined when we look at what we see down there. And so, same with Patrick Beverley. Now he's in Chicago. He's in a much better situation. The stakes are lower in regards to how much pressure is over there, and everybody's happy he's back home helping a team that's been struggling on the defense get some defensive stops and have some heart that they maybe have been missing. You know, they needed that Lonzo Ball defensive point guard down there. He fills a role. So he's just much better there for them in every way than he is over here for us in regards to what we were dealing with. And so that's what it was, man. That's what I had to say about that. I think Patrick Beverley, I don't think he was afraid of the pressure or anything like that. But he just was here in a time where everything was just kind of pointed at him. And we were really, really in need of a winning situation. It's not like we were expecting to be bad. We want to compete for a championship right now. So it's like when we're seeing bad product, we think we can see better. Players that we want to see play on the floor are not being used, so this guy can be on the floor and he's struggling, and all of that just makes it so that you're pointing your anger at him. So that's what it is, man. On top of that, we're the Lakers, period. So there may be some extra pressure. Got like I said, the LeBron fan factor. That's going to bring more pressure just in and of itself. So that's what AD's dealing with too. LeBron fans ain't happy, man. A lot of these dudes ain't Laker fans. You just can't tell the difference. There's no change. If LeBron and when LeBron leaves, you're gonna see the separation and you'll know who was who. But right now, we all together. You can't tell who's who. But there's a lot of vicious Laker fans who are on the side of we want to win number 17, and there's a lot of vicious LeBron fans who are on the side of you better finish this right. And they have much more urgency than Laker fans. Because we know we got next season, whether LeBron here or not, we'll figure out whatever our future is. They don't have no time left, so it's like get it right or it's apocalypse time. And so I understand their urgency. I understand it, and I share it as a competitor that wants to win a championship every single season. I know it's not realistic so I can let go of the season. But I want to win it bad, and we need to beat the Phoenix Suns tonight. And we need to beat Patrick Beverley in a couple days, and we need to beat the Thunder in between that. And so it's a lot going on. The Lakers need to be ready for it. And Patrick's going to have 2 games to try to take out his frustrations on us Laker fans for, our frustration toward him. And you know what we need to do? Continue to pour it on. Give him more. He's a competitor now, so pour it on. That's it. We're going to be ourselves. And so that's the end of the day. I want to tell everybody that the Laker Nation is going to stand. We're not going to change. It's like I said in the previous video, we respect that players want to have fun and enjoy their playing time. And this is a pressured place and blah, blah, blah. Mistakes have been made. But we're not going to change. We're not going to change. We don't want to change. We don't have to change. And that's what it really comes down to. We want to win. We expect winning is the way to go. We think we know something that everybody else doesn't know because of how many championships we got. So we're not going to change in that regard too. It's like all of them, they can be mad at us for being so intense. But we were raised by Kobe Bryant, and we saw the results of what being intense can be. We win, they lost. Because he was angry and pensive and doing all this while they were doing all of this. And so now when we see all of y'all doing all this, we're just sitting there like, yeah, that's cool, but we don't care. We want to win. We were raised by Kobe, and we have 17 championships, and we're going to get more. And so that's the mentality, man. The Mamba mentality. We ain't nice, we're efficient. That's it. And because we're being represented by people who haven't been as efficient, we're angry. So, that's all. That's what you're seeing, the Mamba mentality that is here, alive and well in the Los Angeles Lakers fan base. And so we're moving forward, man. We understand the urgency. We're built for the urgency, and we hope that our team comes out and shows a reflection of who we are. Purple and gold, man. We're champions, so this is not scary to us at all. We're irritated because others are afraid while we're pushing forward, ready to make the playoffs, whether we have LeBron James or not. And that should be the mentality of the guys on the floor, man. I've heard that people expect certain players to have a big game, but one person I really expect to have a big game is D'Angelo Russell. In a game like tonight where guys will be on the floor looking to shoot the ball at a certain rhythm, this is a night where he should be able to get in rhythm. And so that's who I'm looking for. I want him. I don't know what type of point total you'd expect from him, but I want him to lean into his scoring and find efficiency available for us tonight. And if he can find his rhythm, he'll make a big difference because he has struggled and we've struggled as a team. I don't think those two things are exclusive. He needs to get it together. So that's it, man. More D'Lo, more Austin Reeves, less Beasley, please. And of course, we gotta give Wenyen Gabriel more props because he's played so well at that center position. I really do think he should be moving into that starting lineup in place of Vanderbilt, who's been struggling for his standards and has not been used properly. We need to put Vanderbilt on Devin Booker for a good majority of the game. That should be the importance. Obviously, he's going to start. Nobody's thinking about starting Wenyen Gabriel in real life. That's just my head. We need to start Vanderbilt and put him in a position to hound Devin Booker, just like I've been saying all morning. If we do that, we'll be properly using Vanderbilt. But as of now, right now, I don't think we are. So let's get in gear, man. This is a massive, massive basketball game ahead of us. Everybody's talking about us. They don't know which way to go, whether they want to kick us as we're down or to even perceive us as down, because we can win a couple games and find ourselves right back in a good position. So everybody's pensive to see how Anthony Davis is going to react, how Darvin Ham is going to react to the next 10 games ahead. So I will follow suit and, of course, react as well as we go forward. The game, of course, will start at 7 o'clock, so we got about an hour, a little more than an hour left. And we'll see what the Lakers can do, man. This is a Phoenix Suns team that's undermanned. We know that. So beating them will not give us kudos at all in this particular matchup. But it will allow us an opportunity to be one more game closer to our goal, which is being in that play-in tournament / playoffs and finding a way to create problems for whoever we see. So that's what it is, man. My name is BDF44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.